Hi, and welcome back to your Public Affairs Programming Show. I am once again your host, Jackson Heaton, and really special guest in studio today, something that I myself want to be involved in one day, stuff like this, helping children. So today we have Chris 180 in studio, and with us is Kathy Colbenson. She is the president and CEO of Chris 180. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jackson.
So tell us a little bit about Chris 180 and what you do.
Well, Chris 180's mission is to heal children, strengthen families, and build community. And we help basically children, young adults, and families be able to heal and be their best people, the best people they can be. We really focus on helping kids and families who've experienced trauma change the direction of their lives.
It's amazing that, what are we, just a couple weeks out from a new decade, 2020.
Yes.
We were supposed to have flying cars by now. Some thought we'd be living on Mars. And we still, unfortunately, instead of having those things, we still deal with families that do go through trauma, families that don't, have a place to lay their head at night, that don't know where their next meal is coming from. And in such a rich country that we supposedly are, we still have this problem that needs to be addressed, and it's something that shouldn't happen, but it's amazing, and what makes Atlanta such a special community is that there are places like Chris 180 that want to help out.
Yes, it's really important. There's a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what our technological advances and our scientific advancements, we're still human, and we still need each other, and we're still a human being as a relational person. And so we have to learn how to communicate and work out problems and remember to treat each other with kindness.
And you deal with all types of trauma, difficulty, family issues, and mental health, substance abuse. I mean, you're all over the map when it comes to helping children and their families.
Right. I like to say we're Chris 180. Chris is an acronym for our values, and it's creativity, honor, respect, integrity, and safety. And the 180 is a change in direction. And we provide to achieve a 180, we provide 360 services. So we do a lot of things and have a lot of partners in the community that help us.
And so how long has Chris at 180 been around?
We were founded in 1981, so 38 years we've been around, and we've been changing lives that entire time. We started working with kids in foster care who had behavioral health issues, and their needs couldn't be met in a regular foster home. So we created family-style homes for 6 kids in which they live in a family unit setting, and they're able to go to public school, and we give them support and counseling to help them be able to succeed in the world. And then we started a program for homeless youth because our expansion has really been driven by filling gaps in services in the community and what we've seen. And a lot of kids aging out of foster care have become homeless. And then there are a lot of homeless youth because of challenges in families, where families are having struggles and may kick out an LGBT youth, or they may leave their family because of family violence. And so that's where our counseling and our strengthening families comes in.
What do you mean by aging out of foster care?
When we started our program, a child turned 18, and the Department of Family and Children Services said, you're an adult now. And they've changed the law, and now it's 26. Kids can have insurance, and they can remain, they can still get defect services through age 21, but they're scaled back. And so kids between the ages of 18 and 21 really aren't equipped, especially if they've been in foster care. And actually, I wasn't equipped at 18, and I came.
None of us were.
Right. And my dad told me I was never going to be smarter than when I was 18, so I better enjoy it. So those kids are not really equipped to be self-supporting. I mean, I wasn't at 18, and I had every advantage.
Yeah, exactly, because you take these kids that have come through foster care their entire life, and you look at them and you say, oh, they're not equipped to handle the real world. Like you said, it's the same thing with us. I was very privileged growing up. I grew up in a family of doctors, and I get to college, and I'm like, I get out of college, I graduate, and I'm like, what's this bill? Where are these coming from?
That's
like,
exactly
yeah,
right.
None of us really are equipped to handle all that. So what kind of changes did you start making or implementing when you became CEO?
Well, we have a supportive housing program. that is available to youth between the ages of 17 and 24 when they enter, and then they can stay once they're in as long as they need to. And we're serving youth who are aging out of foster care, youth who've become homeless. So many of those youth were in foster care. A lot of those youth were LGBT or came from struggling families. And we actually see a huge amount of homeless young mothers. So it's very tragic. And your eyes are not really open in the worlds we live in and our circles. We don't see it because you cannot walk down the street and point out which one person is homeless and which one isn't. We all look alike.
You know, there may be people in your classroom at your middle and high school. There may be someone serving you your food at a restaurant that is homeless.
Exactly. There are a lot of working homeless young people, and as affordability gets more and more of a challenge in the metro Atlanta area, as prices are going up, it is a burgeoning problem.
And I think this is where the aspect of bullying comes into place. Like, you know, people bully in school all the time. You may not know who you're bullying. You may be picking on a homeless person that has a lot of issues in their life, mental health issues. Maybe their mom is struggling on the table because she too is homeless. So a family is, you know, going from safe house to safe house, foster care.
Or living in their car.
Yeah.
There are many, many homeless students that are in high school and even in college. And we have a young man right now who's in college who was in our program in foster care, and the dorms close. And so we're putting him up over the holidays, and we've done that many times with kids who have nowhere to go when the dorm closes.
Now, by you putting him up, you mean giving him housing, giving him food?
A safe house and taking care of him. And he's going to volunteer with us during the school break, but that's not earning him any money. And so we're helping him just like a mom or a dad would. You're not going to say to your child who's gone off to college, no, you can't come home for the break. And you're going to feed them when they're there.
Kathy, are you a mother?
Yes.
So you have that mother instinct of you see a child that needs help, needs some support. And what is it like for you to be able to, or Chris 180 as a whole, be able to give that to these kids?
Yeah. My daughter was 10 years old when I was hired at Chris 180. And I made a personal commitment then that I was going to do, and that the organization was going to do, everything in our power to be as close to a parent, to provide opportunities, exposure, to support these kids as if they were our own, because they are our own. They belong to our community. And thinking of the long term, the more kids we help be self-sufficient, contributing, able to earn an income and have a job, then we're uplifting the whole community. We're uplifting the United States.
What I love about Atlanta and the community here and, you know, interviewing these nonprofits is I think the idea of community and all of us being basically one has gotten lost in a lot of people. People live here, they go to fancy dinners, they go to bars, and they don't think about the person that is struggling to have to find a meal on the street.
That $14 glass of wine can buy 2 meals.
We're a community here in Atlanta. We got to help each other out. We got to be there for one another, and it's things like Chris 180 doing this that is really making a difference.
It is making a tremendous difference. And one of the things that Chris 180 does is we track everything. So we look at outcomes because we see ourselves as stewards of taxpayer dollars and donor dollars. And so to us, it matters that the help we give is producing a positive outcome. And I just have to brag for a minute.
Go
our
ahead.
4-year outcomes for our young adults in the apartment complex we have shown that 100% of the youth who were with us 4 years ago are safely housed, and 98% of them are working and or in school or both.
That's amazing.
I know. It is incredible. It just goes to prove that if you invest in a young person's life and in helping them, coaching them to learn the things they need to learn, they can make it. And we can interrupt the cycle of chronicness for kids who have behavioral health issues, who've experienced trauma before it even gets started.
So with the counseling at Chris 180, what kind of counseling are you do for families and for kids?
Our whole goal is really to put our programs for kids in foster care and our homeless youth programs out of business because we're strengthening families and providing the counseling and the support. We've got 6 counseling locations throughout Metro Atlanta. We're in 42 schools with school-based mental health, and we have a whole program devoted to strengthening families so that families are equipped to support their kids in the ways that the kids need to be able to help them thrive.
A family also an aspect in our world today that gets lost sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, family's such a strong bond, and I saw it the other week. I was going through Midtown Atlanta to downtown, and I saw a mom and 2 kids on the street with a sign with her saying, "I need food," and it just breaks your heart to see.
I tell you, when we opened our apartment complex in 2010, we designated 8 of our units for young mothers. And at that time, it was just a guess on our part. And we see a heartbreaking number of young mothers out there who are really trying to make it and who can make it if given support. And we're also seeing sometimes grandmothers with grandchildren. So we have not only our programs, but we have partnerships with other housing programs. So we work really hard to connect. If we don't have capacity, we don't ever turn anybody away. We connect them to someone else.
You know what really bothered me, and maybe this is getting a little bashing Atlanta in a sense, during the Super Bowl weekend.
Right.
You know, you saw on the news, it was pretty streets, clean everywhere. They put the homeless people, they took them and put them in housing during that weekend. Well, you know what? What happened once that Super Bowl weekend was over? Those people were back out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I read some statistics I can't quote, but that the deaths of homeless people have gone up. And you know, that happens when people don't get the care they need or don't even get the medical care. One of the things that's, you know, there's no silver bullet. And I think we always want a silver bullet. There's not a silver bullet. It takes health care, mental health care, housing. It takes an array of services to really support people in becoming functional again.
Who's building these houses, these family homes?
Well, Habitat is doing their part. One of our partners is Quest Community Development. There's an initiative to try to get affordable units in a lot of the new apartments that are developed, although affordable is a relative term because affordable is 70% of AMI, and the AMI is growing higher as you know, the prices are going up.
And real quick, if you want more information on everything we've talked about, we got more to go, but you can visit chris180.org. That's CHRIS180.org. So about the foster care, I mean, how many kids are in foster care in Atlanta? Do you have a rough number of that? Or
Well, I don't know the exact in Metro Atlanta because Metro Atlanta is either 5 counties or 13 counties.
Right.
But in Georgia, there are about 14,000 people and kids in foster care, and about 10,000 of those kids have a sibling that's also in foster care. And one of the unique approaches we're expanding this year is our gateway homes for siblings, because a lot of people don't realize that when siblings enter foster care, they're often separated because there's not capacity. And so we've created gateway foster homes that are for siblings so that they separation or be reunified if they're already separated. And we have an adoption program that focuses on adoption of kids in foster care.
I mean, you talk about adding to stress and mental health issues. You get separated from your sibling.
Right.
I mean, I have a condo in Buckhead that I share with my brother. We live together. I mean, we're best friends. And, you know, that the fact that so many siblings don't have that kind of connection.
Well, and then the tragedy, even if a child is removed because of abuse or neglect, they're still removed from their home and their school, and they're not often it's an emergency, so they're putting what they can in a black trash bag or whatever suitcase or a backpack might be available, and they lose all the connections. And then to add to that, being separated from your siblings those are huge traumas that are recoverable, but need a lot of specialized treatment to help those kids.
Well, Chris 180 doing absolutely amazing things in our community for families, for kids, foster care, housing, homeless youth. I mean, just amazing things. For more information, visit chris180.org. Kathy Colbenson, President and CEO of Chris 180, thank you so much for coming and giving us a few minutes of your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.